A very good evening. You are tuned on to the weekend edition of Primetime News. We're coming to you live and direct this evening from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Joel Outskun. Let's start off with a look at the headlines.
Cabinet reshuffle tomorrow. Minister Mahinda Amaravira confirms. Joint opposition to protests demanding a general election. UN Human Rights Chief concerned over the lack of progress on accountability and reforms in Sri Lanka. Special police operation arrests 2,500 in 4 hours.
Starting off with our top story this evening. Now, issuing a report ahead of the 37th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council, the UN Human Rights Chief says Sri Lanka has not yet demonstrated willingness to address impunity in the country.
In his report, Prince Zaid Rad Al Hussein said he reiterates his appreciation for the constructive engagement of the government of Sri Lanka with OHCHR and UN human rights mechanisms since 2015. The report says, however, that the fulfillment of the transitional justice commitments made under Human Rights Council Resolution 30/1 has been virtually stalled for more than a year. The Human Rights Commissioner expressed concern over the lack of progress on accountability and reforms. The report says the continuing allegations of torture and surveillance and the lack of sufficient progress in implementing critical confidence-building measures such as release of land, repeal of the PTA and the solution to the pending cases under the PTA have antagonized key constituencies that could be instrumental to the government's reform efforts. The High Commissioner, through his report, urges the Human Rights Council to continue to play a critical role in encouraging progress in accountability and reconciliation in Sri Lanka. The report calls on member states to explore other avenues, including the application of universal jurisdiction that could foster accountability. Amnesty International, reflecting on the UNHRC report, says though Sri Lanka continues to pursue commitments made in 2015 to the United Nations Human Rights Council, progress of implementing them has been slow and there is evidence of backsliding.
In a media statement, the UN expresses deep sadness at the sudden passing of UN Resident Coordinator and UNDP Resident Representative in Sri Lanka, Oona Macaulay.
In a tweet, President Maithripala Sirisena said, "I am deeply saddened to hear that Oona Macaulay has passed away. She served Sri Lanka with passion and commitment. My sympathies to her loved ones and the UN Sri Lanka family." With 17 years of service within the United Nations system, she has previously worked in Panama and Tonga, Sudan, Kenya and Angola. The media statement describes Macaulay as a passionate and caring humanitarian who dedicated her life to serving people of the world. She was instrumental in developing policies and strategic frameworks on leading global issues in a number of countries. A national of Ireland and the United Kingdom, Oona Macaulay, aged 54, was the loving mother of 2 sons. In an exclusive interview with Newsfirst, she expressed her hopes for the ongoing reconciliation and the youth of Sri Lanka.
Young people understanding that the future of the country is one where everybody lives together and puts aside differences, where the historical past is addressed for the future, because I think a lot of emphasis has been put on the past, and that's very important. But addressing the past is actually about the future.
වැරදි කරන කිසි කෙනෙක් මම රකින්න ලෑස්ති නැහැ.
වෙන කණ්ඩායමක් ආවොත් මේ නිදහස නැති වෙනවා.
අද ඩොලරය 159යි.
මේගොල්ලව සුදු කරපටි බංකොලකාරයි.
මේ මම ඇමරිකානු පුරවැසියෙක්.
Well, Minister Mahinda Amaravira says the cabinet reshuffle will take place tomorrow.
The cabinet reshuffle will definitely take place tomorrow. There will be changes in some ministries. The people hope those changes will be beneficial for the country. The people also hope the talented will be given their due place and the amendments will take place to identify the weaknesses. No, I will accept whatever ministry is given. I have worked successfully in every ministry that was given to me. So I wonder if I will be given something else because I performed well. We don't know what will happen tomorrow. The President will decide. If he says there is nothing for me, I will have to remain as an MP.
Now, the joint opposition says it will take to the streets demanding for a general election. MP Prasanna Ranatunga elaborated on the joint opposition's plan.
We cannot continue to paste plasters on these wounds. The people say the government must change. The government must be dissolved and a general election must be called. They must listen to the mandate of the people. Even if you change the ministries, it is the same group of thieves who will remain. It's like if you're done with this, take over the next. We will start our move from the 7th from Nugegoda. We will carry the Mahinda breeze across the country to send this government home. We will have a massive demonstration in Colombo and surround Colombo. The government must listen to the people.
Army Commander Lieutenant General Mahesh Senanayake presided over an event at the 56th Division Command.
The Army Commander declared open a new administrative building for the 56th Division in Kokkeliya, Vaunia. Thereafter, he responded to questions raised by the media on the explosion in Diathalawa.
Major General,
I immediately appointed a 6-member committee led by a Major General. They are investigating the matter. Based on the information we have, it is clear the explosion inside the bus was caused by live hand grenade. This is not the final decision and investigations are underway. We feel it was only one hand grenade. I request the people of the country not to panic. Do not be misled by the false rumors spread by a group claiming there was a threat to national security. If there is something like that, the Sri Lanka Army, Sri Lanka Air Force, Sri Lanka Navy and Police will look into that. Such a situation will never arise.
Journalists also questioned the recalling of Brigadier Priyanka Fernando, Minister Councillor Defence attached to the Sri Lanka High Commission in London.
As the commander of the Sri Lanka Army, I am responsible for this officer's security. I recalled him for discussions and he remains in the country. I am not in Colombo at the moment. After I meet him, we will decide on what measures need to be taken. Someone else must decide whether what he did was right or wrong. This officer is here not because his term has ended. I think it is wise for him to move away from this incident, taking into account his security.
The owner of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, Arjuna Aloysius, and its CEO, Kasun Palisena, both remanded over the Central Bank Treasury bond scam, have been admitted to the prison's hospital. Now, prison spokesperson Tushar Upuldenia said they were admitted to the prison's hospital for a medical checkup.
On Thursday, the doctor attached to the prison hospital who inspects patients from the magazine Prison had ordered for Arjuna Aloysius and Kasun Palisena to be admitted to the hospital for a medical checkup. The duo were moved to the prison's hospital on Thursday evening. However, Kasun Palisena was returned to remand prison this afternoon and Arjuna Aloysius continues to remain at the prison hospital. This was confirmed to Newsfirst by prison spokesperson Tushara Upuldenia. Kasun Palisena was subject to a medical checkup as he had complained of hip pains and Arjuna Aloysius was recommended for a checkup due to a urine infection and headache.
It's been 9 years since senior journalist Lasantha Wickrematunge was assassinated. However, those responsible for his killing are yet to be brought before the law.
Two former police officers are currently remanded for several reasons, including concealing vital evidence in the Wickrematunge assassination inquiry. Last week, a senior police officer provided the statements to the Mount Lavinia magistrate. Vital information has come to light over Wickrematunge's missing notebook, which was in his car at the time he was killed, and several pages also going missing from that notebook. A statement made by former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa over the Lasantha Wickrematunge assassination is making its rounds on social media.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe made a statement in Parliament claiming Lasantha's murder was done by Sarath Fonseca. I will have to agree with that 5,000%. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe made a statement in Parliament claiming Lasantha's murder was done by Sarath Fonseca. I will have to agree with that 5,000%.
As mentioned on the headlines this evening, now police have arrested 2,564 people connected for various crimes and wrongdoings during a 4-hour special operation this morning. The operation commenced at 2 early this morning and went on until 6 a.m.
Police headquarters said among them are 524 people connected for drug-related offences and 741 people are connected to various crimes. A cache of weapons was seized by police during a raid in Pallevela. The raid was carried out early this morning after police were tipped of an illegal distillery operating inside the Pallevela police jurisdiction in Mirigama. When police inspected the house, they discovered a locally manufactured firearm, 7 bullets used for a T-56 assault rifle, notes on certain weapons, a computer and a mobile phone. Police arrested a suspect during the raid and he will be produced before the Attanagalla Magistrates Court tomorrow.
A Sri Lankan delegation is in Bhutan for dialogue with Bhutan's Anti-Corruption Commission.
Newsfirst has learned the delegation comprises of the Secretary to the President, the Attorney General, a Commission and Director General from the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, as well as secretaries from the Ministries of Public Administration and Home Affairs. The delegation is expected to share respective experiences and learn from the Bhutanese strategies with particular reference on prevention methodologies.
Well, you're watching Primetime News. Up next is our investigative journalism segment, Action TV.
The Hurlu River in Anuradhapura was built during the reign of King Mahasen. The flash floods in 1957 destroyed the river, and in 3 years it was renovated following the intervention of then Minister of Irrigation C.P. De Silva. The Hurlu River's water source is rainwater, and a decision was taken to release water from the Mahavalley at a time when it had a water capacity of 55,000 acre-feet. Since 1984, the water from the Bovathanna reservoir is being released to the Hurlu River so that a total of 13,500 acres of paddy lands can be cultivated during both the Yala and Maha seasons. This canal was constructed from Landara Matara to carry the water from the reservoir to the river. This canal stretches across a length of 35 kilometers. Though the water from the Mahavalley is released via this canal, what reaches the Hurlu River is less than half of what was released. A majority of the water goes to waste because there are many leaks along this canal. Therefore, if a certain renovation project of the Hurlu River is to take place, it must focus on the renovation of this canal. However, the Department of Irrigation today has given priority to a separate project. In a backdrop where there isn't sufficient water for the Hurlu River, rather than providing a solution for that, the project launched by the Department of Irrigation, claiming to be a precaution in the event the river breaks its banks, can be viewed as a timber racket. The spill water from the Hurlu River is directed to the Yarnoya. On the basis the spill water might even break the banks of the Yarnoya, another project has been launched to widen the Yarnoya by another 15 meters and increase its depth to 20 meters across 6 kilometers. And it has forced the felling of many valuable trees such as kumbuk, located within a forest reserve. What is being done is harmful to the environment. It takes hundreds of years for a tree to grow completely. During such a period, the trees are being felled and authorities must look into this. What happens to the felled kumbuk trees? This is even a mystery to certain officers serving in the Hurlu River Irrigation Office. According to the locals, even though the police enforces the law against those who transport sand from this location, they protect the people who carry the timber away from the area. The Department of Irrigation has launched a project which is in the bottom of the priority list. Who are they supplying kumbuk timber to under the guise of this project? Minister of Irrigation, this is over to you.
A group of farmers today forced open the sluice gate of the Kauduleke Ala. The farmers from Madhuragiri have been affected by the drought for over several months.
The farmers in Biso Bandaragama in Madhuragiri, just like all other farmers in Rajarata, depend on the rainwater for their cultivations. However, all these farmers are now faced with the same fate, where hundreds of acres of paddy land have been destroyed by dry weather. Farmers say they face some form of relief when the water was released for their cultivation from the lower level of the Kaudula River. However, now they claim that water is also not being released.
We did not receive sufficient rainfall. The people are spending a lot to construct agrarian wells and pump water. Those have also run dry. You can see the state of destruction without water. The remaining paddy will also be destroyed by tomorrow. The people are helpless. That is all we can say.
These farmers allege though irrigation authorities did not release water for their cultivation, the Ambagasweva settlement received water continuously for the past few days. As these farmers could not bear the destruction anymore, they moved towards the Eka Ala, which carries water from the Kaudula Vava to the Ambagasweva. The group then resorted to force open the sluice gate. The farmers say they did so because they wanted to protect their crops.
We are facing a new year. If this harvest dies, we will have no new year. We have no alternative. We spent all the money on pipes and construct wells. This is what we have. If not, we will have to commit mass suicide. Therefore, we are forced to open the gates for water.
The farmers say they will monitor what action the authorities would take.
They can take whatever decision they want. We will allow them to do so. But we have already enforced our decision. We resorted to this measure because we cannot bear it anymore.
What's the situation in Kurunagala? Well, now Oona Kurunagala village is in jeopardy as the water supply project has been abandoned.
A water supply project was launched in 2017 to solve the drinking water issue faced by the village of Madinnorua. The foundation stone was placed by Minister S.B. Navinna. Villagers say the government allocated 14.9 million rupees for this project. However, officers from the Northwestern Office of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board had claimed the location for the project was not suitable only after the foundation stone was placed. Villagers claim the location close to the Madinnorua Vava was selected as an alternative.
The water board inspected the site. They said it will not be enough to provide water to 182 families as there is a rock at the bottom. They wanted an alternative and I accompanied them. This is that location. A well has been constructed. This is the site shown to us by the officers from the Mahavalli development.
When the excavation process was underway, the officers from the Mahavalli Development Authority had said the location is not suitable for the project.
So far, 6 people have died in the village due to chronic kidney disease. 38 more are suffering from this. We have to walk a kilometre and purchase a litre of water for 4 rupees. There are around 100 wells, but the water cannot be used at all.
News First contacted the Megalab Mahavalli Divisional Manager Kapila Kumara in this regard. He said instructions were given to stall the excavations as it was being done near the banks of the Vava and it was away from the recommended location.
This project has been stopped and they want us to build wells. Why are they burdening us like this?
Still in related news this evening, now the people of Mahakarandava in Karulagaswava Putlam allege they too do not have access to water for consumption and daily activities.
Since there is no mechanism to provide water for this village, the villagers have to face an issue in accessing water during the rainy season as well as the dry season. There are around 100 families living in this village and a majority of them earn their living through labour. At present, the villagers obtain water from the tube well fixed at the Mahakarandava Viharaya.
There was a well. We consumed water from it when we were young. Now that well has dried up. We now drink the water we obtain from this. People who can afford to purchase it do so. Since we cannot afford, we have to consume salt water. When we provide labour, we only get 500 to 600 rupees a day. When we spend 60 rupees for a can of water, we do not have money to buy some rice to eat.
We can't even apply soap. There is a lot of salt in the water. We see through the media that the disaster management institutions are working to provide water for the people. It has been months. We have not seen those gentlemen coming here to give us water.
දින ගානකින් මාස ගානකින් මාස 6කින්වත් තව ඔය කියන මහත්තුරු ඇවිල්ලා මේ මිනිස්සුන්ට වතුර දුන්නා. ගම්මැද්ද.
මේ වගේ දඬු වැටක් අපිට කොහෙද දකින්න පුළුවන්. මේ තියෙන කුස්සියේ මම ඉන්නේ කුස්සියේ. මේ දරුවෝ කාමරේ ඉඳලා කුස්සියට එයි කියලා බයට තමයි මේ දඬුවට යොදලා තියෙන්නේ. එහෙමනේ?
In March 2016, Newsfirst under the gum of the door-to-door campaign came across the family in Madrigiria. Well, Nishanta is the breadwinner of this small family. His house is separated into just two, one with a tree branch which is used as a bar. Another house is divided into the bedroom and kitchen by this. Nishanta plucks coconuts for a living. Following the gum at the door-to-door campaign, we reported on the plight of Nishanta's family, and immediately after Venerable Bhattaramulle Silaratna Thero came forward to build a house for his family. Well, now today Newsfirst caught up with Nishanta and his family. He is no more a simple coconut plucker. He is now engaged in fishing and agriculture. Let's take a look.
We were given a house through Sirasagamadda. We used to live in a very tiny house with coconut leaves for a roof. Today we are cultivating in the garden. We have no issue now. A house was our dream. We pray that merits be awarded on Sirasagamadda the Venerable Silaratna Thero.
I am now engaged in fishing. I have no fear. I can even afford to send my children to school. We cultivate our own vegetables.
Well, Nishanta's is just one story that we at the Newsfirst team had come across. Well, we walked miles without taking into consideration any hardship. We at Newsfirst got out from our comfort zone, and our team members itself have been going from door to door with a sole objective of ridding this whole sad hardships of our fellow Sri Lankans. Well, if you take for an example the Polonnaruwa district itself, we know that we, through our government, the program, have reported to you several instances of wild elephant incursions into their homelands, and then also the lack of pure drinking water, and then again several other hardships due to the dry weather conditions being experienced, and even maybe the basic necessities of having just water for their cultivations. Well, these are just a few which we, during our initiatives of the government, the door-to-door campaign, and daring forward our government, the initiatives which we have been able to interact with the people and experience their problems. Well, we know that we did not do this all by ourselves. There were several corporates, there were several individuals, I would even say, by any possible amount that they contributed to put a smile on our rural brothers and sisters, because they needed that change, because government is all about bringing a smile on these people's faces. So with that message being brought to you, here is another request made from the Newsfirst family to join hands with us with the government initiative once again, and let's make a difference. Let's put a smile on their faces. Your simple donation is of much value. With that message passed to you this evening, I would like to hand over things for a short commercial break. Now, the final rites of the most venerable Girambe Ananda Thero, the Anunayaka of the Sri Lanka Ramani sect, were performed this evening.
The most venerable Thero passed away on Tuesday while receiving treatment at the Sri Jayawardhanapura Hospital. The Thero rendered his services to the nation as well as the Sasana while being the incumbent Thero of the Sri Saranananda Mahapirivena as well as the Sri Saranananda Pirivena in Peradeniya. The most venerable Girambe Ananda Thero was 80 years at the time of his demise. President Maithripala Sirisena paid his last respects to the remains of the most venerable Thero today. Politicians and other dignitaries also arrived in Anuradhapura to pay their last respects. The mortal remains were moved in a parade from the Sadasiri Saranananda Pirivena to the Valisingha Harishchandra grounds for the final rites to be carried out. The religious ceremonies were conducted by the Agga Mahapandita, Most Venerable Napane Pemasiri Thera, the Mahanayaka of the Sri Lanka Ramana sect.
Ironman 70.3, one of the biggest international triathlon championships, will take place in Colombo tomorrow. Now, the first of its kind to be hosted in South Asia, The media sponsor for the Ironman 70.3 is a champion network led by the MTV MBC network together with News First.
Ironman 70.3 World Championship qualifying race will comprise of 3 events, namely a 1.9 kilometer ocean swim, followed by a well-paved flat and fast 90 kilometer bike course and a 21.1 kilometer run. Ironman 70.3 will kick off at 6 a.m. tomorrow from Golface Green. The event will see a participation of 880 athletes representing 63 countries. Ironman Kids, an event in line with the main event, took place this morning at Golface Green with the participation of more than 550 local international students. A member from the indigenous community will compete in tomorrow's main event as well.
Well, it's a school's big match weekend, and here's details of some of those inter-school encounters.
The 55th Battle of the Brothers played between Isipatana College Colombo and Thurston College Colombo ended in a draw today. Batting first at the SSC, Thurston College posted 314 for 5 in their first innings declared, and Isipatana College posted 201 for the loss of 9 declared in their first innings. Thurston College then declared their second innings on 140 for 5, giving Isipatana College a target of 254. At the end of play, Isipatana College were 153 for the loss of 7 wickets. The 17th Raigam Salpiti Korole big match between Piliandala Central College and Taxila Central College Horana ended in a draw this evening in Moratua. Batting first, Piliandala Central College posted 291 for 9 declared. Taxila Central College could only post 115 runs on the board for their first innings. Forced to bat again, Taxila Central College won 147 runs for the loss of 6 at close of play. The 18th Battle of the Heroes in Jaffna played between Jaffna Mahajana Vidyalaya and Jaffna Skandavarodya Vidyalaya also ended with no result. Jaffna Skandavarodya Vidyalaya, batting at close of play in their second innings, were all out for 139 runs.
Well, on that note, we wrap this edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for stopping by. If you missed out any stories, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Joel Outscoon. Take care. Good night.